Good evening. This is the CBS Sunday Night News. I'm Charles Osgood. With Douglas Ginsberg gone in a puff of old marijuana smoke, Washington wonders who's next as Supreme Court nominee, and how can President Reagan make his third try the charm? Jacqueline Adams reports.
Returning from Camp David, President Reagan ignored questions about both Judge Ginsberg and his likely successor. White House aides, however, summoned California Appellate Court Judge Anthony Kennedy to Washington and confirmed that he's the leading contender. In the wake of Ginsberg's revelations of marijuana use, though, Senate Judiciary Committee members are urging caution.
I think its speed is desirable, but nevertheless there is another and more important factor that we have had a comprehensive background and we don't have any fooballs like this to come up again.
But Kennedy already has problems. Though he's considered a conservative jurist, he's apparently not conservative enough for some Justice Department officials and North Carolina Senator Jesse Helms, who's threatened to filibuster a Kennedy nomination. That's one reason why administration officials continue to float other names. Among them, Judges William Wilkins of South Carolina, Ralph Winter of Connecticut, and Edith Jones of Texas. Conservative opposition to Kennedy is the reason why President Reagan will not name his next nominee tomorrow. Officials here want to go through the now familiar ritual of consulting with key senators and assess a filibuster's chances before making their final recommendations to the president. Jacqueline Adams, CBS News, the White House.
In the town of Enniskillen in Northern Ireland, a bomb exploded today, killing 11 people, injuring many more. The powerful explosion came as a crowd was gathering at the town's war memorial to observe Remembrance Day, honoring Britain's war dead and those who have died in these years of violence in Northern Ireland. A boat carrying 6 adults and 2 children was captured off the Israeli coast today by Abu Nidal's terrorist group. Those aboard were reportedly Belgian and French Jews with dual citizenship in Israel. Nidal apparently this time wanting to thumb his nose at Jordan's King Hussein and the Arab summit that he's hosting in Amman. This was the first day of that meeting, and as Bob Simon reports, it's already clear things aren't going the way Hussein wanted them to.
By the time the conference convened, it was becoming clear that King Hussein's goals would turn into pipe dreams. The summit will not impose any kind of boycott on Iran. Syrian President Assad won't permit it, and the Gulf states don't want to anger the Ayatollah. The summit will not express some newfound Arab unity. It doesn't exist. The Arab world is as splintered today as it's been in the past. It doesn't even look like the summit will bask in the spotlight very long. The Iranians and radical Palestinians seem determined to steal the show. Between missiles in Baghdad and piracy off Israel, they seem to be doing a good job. The one thing the meeting might accomplish is the rehabilitation of Hosni Mubarak of Egypt. The Arabs need Egypt so badly as a counterweight to Iran that they're prepared to forgive what had appeared unforgivable, the peace with Israel. It's not clear whether or not the summit will take any formal action, but officials of several Arab states have indicated their intention to reestablish diplomatic relations with Cairo before Christmas. There's been another success for King Hussein. He has transformed Amman into the capital of the Arab world. For a few days, anyway. By the end of the week, it will go back to being the quiet, rather dull town it's always been. This is, after all, the city the ancient Greeks called Philadelphia. Bob Simon, CBS News, Amman.
The missile Bob Simon referred to was the Iranian missile that hit a heavily populated section of Baghdad tonight. It killed 6 children and 4 women, according to the Iraqi news agency, and destroyed or damaged some 30 homes. Meanwhile, another Kuwaiti tanker flying the American flag was safely escorted today by U.S. Navy ships out of the Persian Gulf. The tanker and its escorts passed through the Strait of Hormuz and into the Gulf of Oman Sunday afternoon. Still ahead on the CBS Sunday Night News, helicopters take on supersonic jet fighters at Top Gun School. Gray skies today in the Northeast from Ohio to New England. Not clouds, but smoke, cutting visibility and causing some breathing problems. Where there's smoke, there's fire, but not necessarily nearby. The smoke blew up from the south, where hundreds of forest fires are burning out of control. The flames have destroyed more than 300,000 acres of trees. The Pentagon denies it, but a newspaper report today says radio waves may be to blame for 5 Army helicopter crashes in which 22 men died. The Knight Ridder papers say radio transmissions can interfere with electrical systems in Blackhawk helicopters. The military has found a way to improve the performance of another of its helicopters, and Terry Drinkwater has that story.
A mock war on the Arizona desert, and surprise, the helicopters are winning. The Marines have come up with new tactics for their heavily armed Cobra Choppers. Just the thing for the flashpoints of the world, they believe. The lead squadrons are now deployed in the Persian Gulf. At this Top Gun helicopter school, the pilots are taught how to shoot down supersonic jet fighters.
Here he comes off at 2 o'clock, about coming up on our 12 o'clock, right behind the hill, right? About 10 seconds. Right now, 2 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 1 o'clock.
It's a dogfight.
First thing we want to do is be able to detect the jets. Don't let them get the shot on us, so we kill them before they kill us.
The jets 550 miles an hour, helicopters just 150, but quicker in the turns. The battles are recorded back at the base and analyzed by computers.
Pivot left, 10 o'clock. Tracking guns.
It's new. We think we have some innovative tactics that will work. It's the pilot that makes a difference. If you have a well-trained pilot, I think he's going into an even fight.
In Vietnam, ground fire, not air-to-air combat, downed most of the helicopters. The tactic to counter that is also taught here, how to hide.
Survival is the answer. However you have to do it, if you have to hide, that's better than fighting and fight another day. We want to live to fight another day.
Terry Drinkwater, CBS News, Yuma, Arizona.
In the Philippines today, President Aquino vowed not to trade the country's interest for U.S. economic aid. The Philippine economy does need help, but Barry Peterson reports the future is looking brighter.
This is the legacy of dictatorship, a country where the overwhelming majority live below the poverty line. But after 18 months of democracy, the nation's economy is struggling back. The foreign companies with their high-tech jobs are slowly moving into the Philippines. This nation was once a stronger economic power than Korea or Taiwan. Now, it's trying to copy their climb from poverty to prosperity.
This is the kind of economic revolution that we are planning and we're moving so that by the end of this century, the Philippines will be able to wipe out our poverty and unemployment.
New jobs mean more money. That means consumer demand is up. So this Philippine-owned appliance factory is now running 24 hours a day because sales have doubled. It's a sign, say experts here, that the economy is turning around.
The recovery has begun, and sales are good.
The progress made so far could be the beginning of an economic rebirth, but it could just as easily be lost if the fragile democracy gives way to turmoil. Barry Peterson, CBS News, Manila.
AIDS has taken a heavy toll in the world of the arts. In New York tonight, members of that community responded in the best way they know how. Musicians and singers from 7 different orchestras and opera companies performed together at Carnegie Hall. They donated their talents to raise money for AIDS victims. Earlier, members of different religions came together to pray for AIDS patients and to comfort their families. Coming up next, looking out for the little guy. The most stupendous tunnel ever dug will be the one under the English Channel. Far less ambitious are the tunnels now under construction in New England. Up in Amherst, Massachusetts, the leaves are laying out a welcome mat for winter. But in one corner of this cozy college town, they're actually getting ready for spring. They're building tunnels. It's not a very big job. They're not very big tunnels. They don't need to be, because these tunnels are not for people, and they're not for cars. They're for a resident of Amherst who's been spotted here and there, the spotted salamander.
The little critters can get under the roadway without getting squashed.
That's a big concern, because every spring after the first warm rain, hundreds of salamanders emerge from under these woods and crawl across Henry Street to lay their eggs in a pond.
Last year, of course, we actually were able to close down the roadway.
For more than a decade, Bob Winston has been leading nature lovers in tossing the salamanders to safety. But last spring, a concrete company got word of the migration and offered to donate these tunnels, tailor-made for crawly things. They've got gaps on top for light and moisture.
And now I'm a salamander subway builder.
The tunnels and the fences to guide the salamanders into them will be unveiled in a big ceremony next week, and school kids are competing to design the official salamander crossing sign.
I'm trying to show a car about to run over a spotted salamander.
And now Amherst is bursting with theories about why the shy, slimy salamander is suddenly so popular.
Well, they scare your mom.
So I'm a bass fisherman and I use them for bait.
This is not the majestic whale. You know, this isn't the cuddly panda. It's kind of the underdog of the animal world.
But maybe most appealing of all is the way on a chill fall day they let you look ahead to spring. And that is the CBS Sunday Night News. I'm Charles Osgood. Good night. See you on the radio.
Pickin' cotton and singin' the blues. The way it was, Charles Kuralt on the road tomorrow on the CBS Evening News with Dan Rather. This is CBS.